Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Country Living Homestead. As you can see, we have quite a few trees over here and also some berry bushes. But today I'm going to be focused on getting these trees, including some of these bare root trees, into the ground and getting them planted. So stay tuned and come along as we plant our orchard today. So this is the area where we are planning on putting our orchard. We came in with the rototiller yesterday and tilled this area mainly because it was full of blackberry canes. So we had to get as much of that out as possible. We also wanted to amend the soil a little bit in here. So this is roughly about a 24 by 24 area. So what I'm going to do first is check out the tags on all of my trees and see what the space requirements are going to be, because we do have some that are various different sizes. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay them out without actually digging a hole. I'm just going to lay them out where I want the spacing to be and have everything kind of laid out before I start digging any holes. You can see these canes right here. That's mainly what we're trying to get out of this area. See, they're kind of still around the outside edges, but we're not worried about that. We just wanted to try to get them out of this main area here. And what I think I'm going to do after I get all the trees planted is come in with some cardboard and some wood chips on top of that, just to make sure that they stay suppressed. I have all the trees laid out where I want to plant them, and this was going by the spacing guidelines that are on the tags of the trees themselves. So I'm gonna get started digging some holes. The pear trees that I'm planting today are Bartlett pears. They are in these little bags because they're a bare root tree. So I'm gonna go ahead, take it out of the bag and soak it in some water. Okay, so this is what a bare root tree looks like. Put it in this bucket and let it soak for a while. When you're soaking your bare root trees before planting them, it's a good idea to give it about 2 or 3 hours to soak before you plant it, if at all possible. Now, what I'm going to be doing with digging my holes, I'm going to want to dig a hole that is probably about 3 times the size of this root ball. This is a pear tree. So there is a huge rock in this hole that I started digging. So I'm going to try to get that out of there. It's really windy out here today, so I'm hoping that you can hear me. Okay, I'm happy with the size of my hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this organic composted cow manure to the hole, and I'm going to mix that in with the existing soil. got this tree planted, I'm going to get a 5-gallon bucket of water and I'm going to go ahead and water it in. Now that the tree has absorbed all the water, I'm going to go ahead and put some compost down around the tree, and then I'm going to mulch. And the tree that I just planted, it was a Bartlett pear, a bare root tree. And next I'm going to be planting a contender peach. I will be coming back through later on to stake this tree. I'm not going to stake it really tightly though, because being out here and being able to move slightly in the breeze will help create a stronger tree. So I want to give it a little bit of room to move, but not enough so that it can grow slanty or do anything weird. Okay, so next we have this contender, or no, I'm sorry, it's not a contender. I'm thinking green beans, a Reliance peach. So we are going to go ahead and get a hole dug for this. This will be slightly different because this does have a root ball. So I won't plant this to completely cover the root ball. I'll leave just a little bit at the top, so I won't make too deep of a hole for this. But I am going to make it big in diameter. Another important thing that you want to look for when you're planting your tree is finding where your tree is grafted on. And you'll see this. You want the soil to just be below this graft. You don't want it to come up above the graft. And most trees that you purchase today will be grafted onto other stock, and the grafting usually either produces a higher yield or more disease resistance for the tree. All right, so I have the hole dug. It's a size that I'm happy with. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process. I'm going to add some compost to the hole and mix it with the existing soil. And then I'm going to go ahead and start to plant the tree. It does have a sock on the root ball. I'm not going to remove that because it is biodegradable. Okay, so when I tried to pick this up, I guess it has already degraded. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix that compost into the hole. Now I'm going to plant the tree. I'm just going to tamp it around just really lightly, just to make sure we don't have any air pockets under the soil. also see the graft on the tree that I just planted. This is the graft. So you definitely want to keep that above the soil. And as you can see, even after the tree is planted and mulched, the graft is still visible. So there are a couple of other things that you'll want to take into consideration when deciding where to plant your fruit trees. The first is going to be sunlight. This is an area that's going to get full sun for at least 6 hours a day, and most fruit trees prefer full sun, so that's one of the reasons that we chose this location. Another thing to think about is pollinator trees. Even if you purchase a self-pollinating variety like say the Granny Smith, it might be worth it to purchase a second Granny Smith tree because you will get a higher yield planting 2 of those trees rather than just one. Trees that are not self-fertile will pollinate with certain varieties, so that's something that you'll need to do your research on and find out which trees you'll need to plant for good pollination. Thanks so much for joining us at the Country Living Homestead today. And if you haven't already, get busy planting.